The views, opinions and information shared during the Youth Services podcast series belong solely to the individuals involved. Any recommendations or advice given during the podcast is general in nature and does not replace the need to seek professional advice where necessary. If you are in need of urgent assistance, please call 000 or the Kids Helpline on 1800 55 1800.
The City of Casey proudly acknowledges the traditional owners, Casey's Aboriginal communities and their rich culture, and pays respects to their elders past, present and future. We acknowledge Aboriginal people as Australia's first peoples and as the traditional owners and custodians of the land on which we work and live. I would like to acknowledge that we are recording this podcast on Bunurong country. Hello everyone and welcome to the Casey Youth Services podcast. I'm Tarryn Heger.
And I'm Natalie Taylor.
And we are your friendly youth services officers for the City of Casey and your hosts for today. So it's that time of year again where the shopping centres are busy, Christmas carols are on repeat, and some families come together to share food and exchange gifts. It can be overwhelming for some of us coming into the festive season. So within this episode, we'll be discussing some tips on how to deal during this time. Today, we are joined by the two wonderful youth counsellors, Casey's Youth Counselling and Support Service, the lovely Tsiongas and Jacqueline Kaing, who are here to shed some light on the amazing service that they provide and how you can get the most out of this time of the year. Welcome to you both. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, definitely. Can't wait.
And a big shout out to our viewers out there.
Yeah, love.
We do get put on YouTube.
We do.
Oh.
So as always, we love to start off with a bit of a fun question. And the question we have today is, if you were a fruit, what would you be and why? We might start with you, Jacqueline.
Okay, sure. So I think I would be a strawberry. So beneath the leafy greens, or in this case, my long hair, I'm short to pick up and sweet inside.
Love that. I definitely can attest to that. What about you, George?
I would be a coconut. Mm-hmm. I believe I'm multi-layered, sweet, but the most important thing is I'm actually good for you.
Yes. Love coconuts.
Yes. They're so in-depth. My thought was just a banana because I'm lazy and they're easy to eat.
That's good.
I like that one,
and
though.
bananas are versatile as well.
Yeah. Yes. What about you, Tarryn?
I think I would be an apple because you can have them so many different ways and they bring a lot of joy and goodness to the consumer.
Very true.
And you know what they say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away.
So
Also,
true.
Tarryn a day keeps the doctor away.
That's what I'm manifesting.
All right, so we're going to get into a bit about yourselves. So can you let us and the listeners know what your actual role entails and just some stuff about yourself?
So I'm married. I'm a father of two beautiful daughters. And for those who don't know, I'm actually an autograph collector. I like my sports memorabilia and car sign photos. So there's a bit of trivia for you this morning.
Yeah, noted.
So we will give you our autograph once we're finished.
Right. I can add that to my list. My role involves obviously providing a comfortable, warm space for young people to obviously, express themselves, manage their underlying emotions or anything that's going on at home or at school that they need support about. But most importantly, it's about them bettering themselves and developing some self-esteem through some tools.
Perfect.
Oh, George basically stole my line.
The advantage of going first.
So I'm myself a newly married, kind of, and have two fur babies. So my two beautiful, cute and naughty bunnies. I love them so much, but they are quite naughty. They love to eat the house, unfortunately. So being a youth counsellor, obviously we help support young people, like our podcast listeners, who are faced with challenges and just need a safe and confidential space to talk about like their feelings or thoughts and just explore ways of coping. So just being part of their mental health journey is really rewarding, and just being able to meet their individual needs and goals to support their well-being.
Love your guys' work. Love it. And your bunnies sound so cute. What are their names?
Oh, they're not very original,
Please tell.
but I will share. So the first one is a grey and white bunny, and his name is Bun Bun. So again, not original.
So cute.
And the second one is a bigger brown bunny, and we call her Brownie. But that was after the food because we love brownies. Love to eat brownies.
Brownies are good.
Yeah, but not eat our bunnies. No.
I thought you were going to say something like they're bugs and Lola or something like that.
No. Oh, no. It's definitely not as original.
Love that. So with the awesome work that you do, you must be seeing some common themes during this time of the year. Could you share with us what they might be?
Yeah, so we get a lot of young people who do come from culturally and linguistically diverse backgrounds. So I myself am from a cold background, and we deal with a lot of like pressures from families and schools in terms of like their performance, and just I can just really relate to that because coming from a cold background, you can really understand and just see the challenges that they experience, because you've also experienced some of that yourself growing up. So I can really empathise with the stress that it causes when it comes to parental pressures and just being able to perform well, because it's very highly regarded in like Asian communities, Southeast Asian communities especially. So just helping young people be able to manage that stress is really important, you know, especially around exam time, which a lot of young people have just finished exam, so I'm sure they're celebrating very, very much so. But just the young people in schools, just those challenges there and the anxiety it can also bring. Yeah.
Yeah, such a tricky time, and I think that it's awesome, that you're able to, you know, help them be equipped with those tools on how to deal, because, having that common ground as well, being able to relate, I think, is important. And I had a lot of friends in school that were from cold backgrounds, and they did experience that pressure, so.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So we are getting into the busy season. So what is something that you can suggest to the listeners and the young people that you see to get the most out of this time?
Well, given that Christmas is just around the corner, most of us are preparing for, you know, catching up with family and friends and attending parties, you know, and just getting out there and having some fun. But not everybody actually celebrates Christmas.
So true,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not everyone has, you know, contact with their family and friends.
Yeah.
So for us to be mindful that if we can treat people with, you know, kindness and respect can go a long way. A big shout out to retail workers at the moment.
Yes.
You know, they're working around the clock.
Do not envy them at all.
Ensure that our needs are met during Christmas time. I think showing some patience and respect and kindness can actually go a long way.
Definitely.
And I think just reflecting as well, you know, on the past year and just thinking about all those positives that we've come across and all the challenges that we've endured to get to where we are today. So, you know, most years I also have like, you know, something I want to follow through with as such, like every new year, think about what's the goal this year? Exactly, those resolutions. Don't know if I quite stick to them, but, you know, got to try and do your best. So even though you might not be able to achieve that resolution, for example, you might get halfway or be almost there in terms of achieving it. It's best to not beat yourself up over it too much, because, you know, we're only human and sometimes things do get in the way where we're faced with those challenges that might not allow us to meet our expectations or those resolutions that we really want to achieve. So that's just something to be mindful of.
Yeah. I think they say like 9 out of 10 resolutions at New Year's don't actually eventuate anyway. So
that sounds
technically you're common if you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
You're an exception if you do.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I have to admit, there have been moments where I haven't followed through.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah, same.
But we're only human, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No one's perfect.
That's right.
But that's so true. I love the shout out to retail workers as well during this time, and just, you know, other people that you might, you know, go to school with, or friends and family. I think that it's really important to check in, and like kindness is free, guys. We should sprinkle it around like confetti, and it has, so many benefits. You never know what people are going through in their day-to-day. So just being kind and sort of can work as a ripple effect, and hopefully that's passed forward as well. Yeah. So on that, why is it important to check in with ourselves, friends and family, and how can we do this in a positive sense?
That's a great question, Tarryn. Well, for me, it's really all about balance. So just making sure I have time for myself, but also my loved ones, and along with ensuring, parts of my well-being are met. So ensuring I'm sleeping well, eating well, exercising well. Maybe a bit slack on that one a little bit, but, doing my best to keep up with that. And, just spending time with my family and friends, even picking up the phone and just checking in, saying, like, how are you? Or are you okay? Not just thinking about are you okay day, which is not the only day you need to ask someone around you if they're doing well or not. So, as humans, we like to be thought about as well. So what better way to show that you're thinking of someone by just, picking up the phone, asking them, showing up at their front door, as long as they let you, and that you're not, as long as you're not interfering with their day as such, and just knowing that that we can just reach out and ask them how they're doing in general. Yeah.
And there's definitely so many different ways we can do that, and I think
100%.
During the lockdowns we exhausted all of the other ways we could without physically being able to, but we're very lucky that we're able to go out and physically knock on somebody's door within reason. Guys.
Yeah, that's it.
And I guess also it's so important to highlight that we do live busy lives. We've all got, personal and professional obligations that we have to meet, and days can just be a blur. They go by so quickly. And gives us an opportunity just to step back and reflect that, hey, I'm going to check in on myself. Yes. How am I travelling? How am I feeling? What's my body feeling? What's my mood like today? Am I stressed? Am I worried? How's my sleep, my diet, my exercise? As well as, are my thoughts healthy or unhealthy? Mm-hmm. By checking in with yourself, you're actually staying connected, not only with yourself, but others. So when you pour that into yourself, you're able to be attuned with others, right?
Yes.
Yeah, not giving from an empty cup.
Exactly. Yeah. But let's not forget that there are support services out there as well. I see it like this. Mm-hmm. If your car breaks down, you go to a mechanic. Yes. If you've got concerns around your mental health, by all means reach out to a clinician and start that process.
Yes.
I think it's really important.
Definitely. That's such an important thing to know. And I think Nat, we've had multiple conversations about how we can check in with ourselves. And I think you do such a great job, utilising, there's many apps out there as well that you can utilise. Yes. And they're free. And if not an app, then you can also, journal and write about, practicing gratitude, but also how your day's been, how you've been feeling, why you've been feeling that way, and unpack it. It's quite therapeutic.
Absolutely. Yeah. It gives you awareness, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And in doing so, you can practice some, good coping strategies or good hygiene.
The last, 4, almost 5 years, every night before I go to bed, I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for from that day.
Nice.
And
that's amazing.
Obviously during COVID, there was not a lot we were doing, so it may have just been, I saw the sun today.
Yeah.
But eventually I got to the stage where if I was having a bad moment, I could consciously go, actually, no, this isn't good. What is something around me right now that I can see that is good? It definitely took a while, but it does help. Definitely.
That's awesome. Having a purpose, intent.
Yes.
It goes a long way.
Yeah.
Sounds like such a healthy habit as well to have. I'm glad to hear you're doing
good self-care then.
Yes. Well, I do have an app, as Tarryn said, that you can write down stuff. And it's, for me, the reason why I keep doing it is because I've got this really, really long achievement and I don't want to lose that achievement.
Right.
So at the moment I've been going for, I think it's 3 years or 4 years, so however many days that adds up to. So I'm like, if I miss one, then that it's gone and I don't want to lose that. So I just put down anything.
Keeping up with the streak.
Exactly.
Yes.
But by putting in strategies in place, you're actually rewiring the brain because we live in our bodies and through our minds. Mm-hmm. So practicing that good self-care goes a long way to maintaining our well-being.
That's so true, and it reflects, our overall performance in life.
Absolutely.
In general, and how we treat people as well.
Absolutely, and I'm a big believer checking in on yourself on a daily basis, and when you're going through stresses, do that more frequently.
Yeah. Yeah, and even checking in on workmates, which you did me the other day, George, which I'm very grateful for. And I think we're very
welcome.
lucky to be a part of the same service where we've got such a great team where we all look out for each other because, the nature of our work is, for young people, and sometimes it can get hard and we're faced with, issues and things like that. So checking in with also people that you work with and friends and family is so important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you're very welcome, by the way.
We do. We have a great youth team, and we all can check in on each other, and it's really nice that we can have that.
Yeah, it takes a village, right?
Yeah.
It does.
Yes. So, is there a certain criteria that young people have to meet to be able to come and see you?
Well, we can always help anyone as such, as long as they fit within our criteria of our service, whether it's a young person calling in or a parent or carer, or even schools or other external agencies. So we are a short-term counselling support service though, and we support low to moderate mental health related situations for our community in the city of Casey. We just always encourage that caller to really be able to provide as much information as they can so that we can make an assessment regarding whether they would fit our service as such. And George might like to share a bit more about that.
Absolutely. We encourage the caller to actually give us a call. By doing so, we can discuss our 3 modes of support, which is individual counselling, parent-assisted therapy, and parent support sessions. But in times where individuals might need something more specialised, then we're happy to refer them to that most appropriate service as well.
That's really good that you actually include the parents in the process as well.
100%.
Yeah, just being able to help support them as much as we can within our capacity as well. Looking at what options are available, whether we're the best service or whether another service would be more appropriate to cater to that individual need.
Absolutely.
Love your guys' work.
Thank you.
Backtracking a little bit, how did the lockdowns affect the youth counselling service?
Yeah, lockdown doesn't seem that long ago, to be honest. But with lockdown, it was quite a tough time for, many of us. We're all human, right? So our usual is taken out of whack as such. So for us as a team, we're human as well, experiencing the challenges of lockdown. So thinking about our usual ways and of life and, the interruptions it can cause. So for example, the wearing masks is a big thing. So it was very, very different, and not seeing people's facial expressions, I think also impacts part of that connection with the other person. So being able to see whether they're actually feeling happy, all you have to do is focus on the eyes, right? But being able to see if they have a smile on their face or if they're looking a bit more low or gloomy, that can be quite an impact.
It's quite hidden, isn't it, Jacqueline?
Yeah, that's right.
It was quite hidden for us to get that reading.
And we don't get that, the facial language,
Which is
to really
important.
assess them as well.
Because we want to know, does your body language match what you're actually telling us? With a mask, you're kind of going, oh, what's happening there?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I remember my niece was probably 2 or 3, and she came to the shops and she was like, Mommy, why is there all doctors? Why is all the doctors here?
Yeah.
So sad.
Yeah. And that's what they would really associate it with, isn't it, as well? Because really, doctors are the ones that, the medical professionals in the hospital, wearing it. And then now you have everyone wearing it. Yeah.
And as you said, it's quite hard to pick up because I'm sure everyone does it, that when you're not feeling great, you can put a mask on and be like, oh, no, everything's fine. And specifically in your job, you need to be able to get through that mask and see what is actually going on.
That's right, yeah. So, part of supporting young people, we were really fortunate that we could offer telehealth service. So that kind of bypasses the mask as such, because you can still see them on screen if they're doing video. Otherwise, we did phone appointments. Although we didn't get to see the person, you can still hear their tone of voice quite clearly, whereas the mask can hinder part of how clear they are. And just being sorry, could you repeat that? That's to anyone though, not just within our, counselling service as such. Yeah.
And for us, obviously, going from having high contact with our colleagues, such as yourself, to operating from one youth centre in the afternoons.
Yep.
It was a big change for us because we used to have that incidental conversation with each other, and check in, right? So that was quite limited for us, and it was quite unusual as well. But what telehealth has enabled us to do, although it was foreign at the start, it actually enabled us to connect with, young people and families that potentially had barriers into actually presenting to a youth centre.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, saves a lot of time on travel for those that
Sure
have to
does.
travel further as well.
Sure does.
Yeah.
Well, on that, what would you say that the positives that have come out of being in lockdown and that are kind of normal now?
I am going to touch base on the fact that there's been such high use of technology, right? We're able to professionally and personally connect with people through, Teams, Zoom, etc. Whereas before the pandemic, to be honest with you, I had no idea that they even existed.
And a QR code, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Check in here.
Yeah.
Check in there.
Do you know what I mean? So it's definitely done that. And I guess for me, on a personal note, being a dad and working full time, my life was rushed.
Yeah.
You know? The gift that I received was time,
Yes.
where I was able to actually slow down and enjoy the simple things in life. And now I'm able to practice, activities that give me joy and do that check-in and that self-care. Whereas before, I think that was just not as regular or frequent as I probably would have wanted it to be.
I definitely concur with that. Like, even though, I was doing the homeschooling and juggling, working full time and stuff, it was tricky, but it also enabled me that time to be present with my son and see where he's at and just understand him a little bit more, which was beautiful. It was a beautiful thing.
And on that note, I was able to, drop off my kids to childcare and kindergarten and do the pickup, where I was able to. And I was able to see them live.
Yeah.
Instead of reading their stories on their apps about what they did for the day,
Yes.
I was able to see that live, and it gave me so much joy.
Yes, that's amazing. Yeah, I think it was really a time to really just appreciate who you have in life as well. It just made me think also about how I really utilize my time, what's the best I can get out of it as such. Because I guess before lockdown, I really didn't think about as much of time for myself.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I really focused more around being able to socialise with family and friends, being around their presence, because they're my world. They make they give me so much happiness. But really just thinking about what can I do for me?
Yes.
Yeah, being really mindful of that. Yeah.
Filling your cup.
Yep,
Yeah.
filling your cup.
Well, they did say it was a great time for introverts and not
That's it.
Introverts are thriving. So where are counselling sessions typically held? So you said you have phone appointments as well as online on Zoom, was
So
it?
it's through Teams.
Teams, yeah.
So our video appointments or telephone appointments are conducted through Teams. The rest is obviously face-to-face appointments at either of our wonderful youth centres, as you guys know, at Narre Warren, Cranbourne or Hampton Park.
Yep.
Telehealth appointments are through Microsoft Teams, either through video or telephone, but that involves ourselves as clinicians and the young person to be in a safe, confidential space in order to take that call.
Okay, so you obviously wouldn't take it if you were in the middle of a shopping centre or something like that.
Nope.
No. We always want to make sure that they have a confidential and space where they can just really be as honest, open, show some of their vulnerability
absolutely.
with us
Yep.
as such.
And we are gathering quite sensitive information.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that that's contained.
Yeah. And actually as an additional thing, not just those kind of modes of counselling support, did you know that George can engage with you in different ways?
Ooh, do tell.
Yeah.
How so?
Table tennis champion.
I love table tennis. I'm a bit rusty right now. And I know there's been a few of the youth works that have come on board that are like, George, can I take you on? And I said, you just gotta be kind to me. Start me slowly. I'm a bit rusty.
Yeah. It is done in a purposeful way as well, just to really build rapport and trust with that young person to be able to share their challenges, their vulnerabilities.
That's a great way to do it.
And movement. It's like movement. It's movement therapy.
Yeah.
When a young person is so dysregulated, I start from the body up and the bottom up. to be honest.
That's so cool.
So you need to kind of regulate how are you breathing? What muscles are tense? If I'm experiencing the shakes.
Yeah.
And by doing so, when they're more relaxed, likely to feel more comfortable in sharing their narrative.
So smart, yeah.
That's a good hack.
I'd be puffed out. After the ball.
I think
I've seen you at Hampton Park, Tarryn. You can smash that ball.
reigning champions right now.
We'll have to have a go.
I don't know, some of the young people at Hampton Park have gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
They are really good.
Yes.
And on that note, I heard a lot of young people that were telling me that, they actually did quite a lot of table tennis during lockdown as part of their physical
It shows.
activity.
It shows.
Okay.
It does.
They're humbling me every day. George, are you able to unpack a little bit about self-check-in?
Yeah, sure. Self-check-in is so important. As I said, we regularly don't do that because we live so many busy lives and so many commitments that we have. Checking in, asking yourself, how am I feeling today? What's my mood like? What's my sleep, my exercise and diet like? Are my thoughts helpful or unhelpful? Building that awareness actually allows you to be more proactive in your self-care.
So say that you do go, okay, how am I feeling right now? And you're like, I don't know I can't actually put a name to this feeling, but I know it's in my gut, it's in my shoulder. Like, is it more that if you can't name the actual
Just sit with
feeling?
it. Just sit with it.
Yeah, okay.
Sit with it. It might take some time and it's okay not to know as well. But
That's good.
But what I do is I check my physical signs, Am I feeling lethargic, fatigue? What's my behaviour like? What's my actions like? Do I feel motivated? And so asking those questions. Sometimes you're not always going to have it.
Yep.
But in due time, you might build on that awareness. And that gives you obviously that opportunity to, process that, reflect and put in place strategies that will be helpful.
People often think they have to have all the answers, isn't it? But they don't.
No.
They really don't.
Right? That's so true.
And Tarryn, you mentioned something about journaling before or diarying. That is so awesome too, because you can actually monitor your progress.
Yes.
And I do a lot of that with my young people that I work with.
Yeah.
That even if you have a really good day, write it down. If you had a bad day, write it down. And then when you reflect on it, it gives you awareness of, why was that a good day? What did I do? What actions did I take to better connect with myself?
Yep.
Was I kind? Did I change my thought to a more positive thought? Did I schedule in exercise? Did I cut out the sugar and eat some greens?
Oh, that one may be a bit less.
A bit hard, particularly now with the Christmas parties at this time of the year. It's going to be a bit hard, but I believe in everything in moderation.
That's it.
100%, yeah. And I feel, journaling is a great resource as well. And it's super easy. All you need is a pen and paper.
Or type it on your phone or type
That's
it
right,
on
in
your
your notes.
device. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, everyone's got a phone now. They can just put it in the notes or just send a message to themselves. I think you can do that now.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Or free apps.
Free apps.
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely. Well, now, can you let us know how the young people can actually access the free counselling that's offered here at KCU Services?
So one of our ways is contacting our intake line. So you can call us up at 9792 7279.
Well, we've got a mobile phone that you can text. So if a young person doesn't feel comfortable in actually making that phone call, we can text them.
That's a great idea.
Gosh, introverts
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
Love.
And, negotiate a time we can actually call them directly. And so a young person or family member can text 0417 347 909.
Well, unfortunately, we have reached the end of today's episode, but thanks, George and Jacqueline, for adding so much value to our latest ep. We could literally sit here for hours talking about all of this stuff. If you missed any of the details or want to book an appointment with George, Jackie, or any of our counselling team, all the information will be included in the show notes below. Of course, if you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe. For all the latest youth services news, be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Our tag is at KC Youth Services. And this is where you will also find our most up-to-date information about any of our programs or services that we have going. And if you are in the area, make sure that you stop in one of our youth centres and say hi, because we love seeing everybody every day.
We do.
Yes. So until next year, legends, enjoy your holidays, have a safe new year, and don't forget to be kind.
Yeah.